better at it. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about, kind of go back and forth between email and whatnot. I'll try to address all that as we move. We are going to be talking about two send types. Those are dealing specifically with email. We're going to be talking about what is copy. This is kind of weird. I'm going to talk about helping you figure out how it is that you want to write to your golfer, and the whole concept behind this to make it easier on you is you need to think about it like you are going on a date with them. All right, we're going to talk about dating your golfer. We are going to discuss how details are magical, hit on subject lines, and call to action. And then most of you have been sadly abducted by aliens. I'm going to give you a test for you to take of whether or not that is you. And then we're going to address formats, and we're going to do that all in 30 minutes. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry if I go fast. Okay. So first of all, we need to think about two different types of times where you hit send when you're sending an email. Those are broadcast and triggered action. Now, thinking about broadcast here, most of you probably primarily only are sending broadcast emails. And I use the broadcast spreader. I'm assuming we're all quite familiar with those. And that is a perfect representation of what an email that's sent out broadcast format does. It just spreads your words all over the place. There's no real, you're hoping something takes. It may not necessarily take with some people, okay? You're just kind of broadcasting out. It's usually to your entire database. The thing that you really want to pay attention to and where you can build a relationship with your golfer is with triggered action emails. And these are things that, as golf courses, we basically completely ignore, foolishly completely ignore, or worse, we just use the stupid, canned, boring message that came with our point-of-sale email system, whatever it is of how you're writing your email. We do not want to do that. So, for example, up here, we have the email confirmation that is sent immediately after someone books online. Now, if you are sending the same email confirmation that every other golf course that uses your facility is using, you are just a nobody. You're like everybody else. But when you use words that are writing for your golfer, you can turn this into something amazing. I've got some examples to that. So let's look at what triggered action emails are. And one of the, first of all, I used to only send broadcast emails. The main thing that I kind of made a focus on for this year, every year I try to tackle a new project in my marketing strategy. So last year, my main strategy I wanted to focus on was social media. And so I got good at social media. I got good at automating social media. I felt like I had that in my wheelhouse pretty solidly. And so I thought I'm going to move on to the next stage, which I believed was to step up my game when it came to triggered action emails. So what you're learning right now, there's tons of things that you're probably learning. You just need to pick one or two of them and then create a strategy of how you're going to go about accomplishing all of this. The thing I don't want you to do is go back to your clubhouse and don't do any of it. You gotta pick at least one thing to change. Okay, so triggered action emails would be like tee time confirmations, if they make an online purchase, when they opt into your newsletter, maybe they're sending some sort of a password reminder, they have signed up for an event inquiry on your website, they've taken a lesson, anything that the golfer has done something which then triggers an action. That's why they're called triggered action emails. If you are just using canned emails for that, we got to step up your game. You cannot take your golfers for granted. And when you don't differentiate yourself from every other golf course in the area, then you're just a nobody. And nobody wants to be a nobody. But you can change that with words. What is copy? Copy, I'm sure you're all sitting there going, I'm not a copywriter. Well, you are, because you probably wrote the words for your website, and you wrote the words, this is what we give away for donations. There's tons of places where there's copy. You probably make flyers for your golf outing. You write your about page, stuff on your website. There are tons of places where even if you did not go to school to become a copywriter, you are absolutely a copywriter. So we got to be a little bit better at that. And the biggest thing is that you need to inject the personality of your golf course. Now, I am sure that you can tell the personality of my golf course is not like others, just based off of my copy and my my graphic design work. That's my sister, actually. We dressed up as weird golfers and took lots of pictures one day. Anyway, this is why it's so important. This right here is what we give away to donations. And so just picture that in the lineup of all the other silent auction items or all the other raffle items of the other golf course that has, you know, whatever it is that yours looks like. I'm sure it doesn't look like that, okay? So which one is going to stand out from the rest, right? And it also helps set a tone of what the golf course looks like. So some people, we call them funophobes, would not want to play golf at a golf course that would present that. Some people might, maybe some of you in this room feel that way, and that's totally fine. You probably wouldn't like playing at our golf course. That's the whole point. It goes back to the beginning of knowing who it is you are marketing to, and then you need to send that message everywhere. It shows the personality of your course. You want to write like you speak. If you read your website, you're going to weep, okay? They're terrible. You have, I know you have all done this because I've been doing research. And I'm like, I just kind of gave up because I didn't even know. I'm like, wow, this is bad. So on your website, now they are nice to you. They're giving you templates to try and, you know, I get it. And it's not fun. I didn't say it was fun. But you need to write how you speak. And primarily, we speak in sentence fragments. So you need to write like that on your website, in your emails, in your social media posts. Don't be saying something like, you need to sign up for our email list so that you can get specials and deals. Do you know how many golf websites say that? Like thousands. You can say, come find us, or we'll find you. Now the English teacher in me, a little cringy, where's the subject and the predicate, right? But that's not how you want to do your copy. You want to inject your personality. Why? Because you're the best golfer on the block, that's why. Now that's a reason to sign up for a newsletter. Actually, there's never a reason to truly sign up for a newsletter, but we'll cover that. What I am saying here is don't put your golfers to sleep. Put your website next to another golf website, and if you have the words gently rolling hills to describe your golf course, you need to come up with something else. There's this book called A Thesaurus. Every golf course has gently rolling hills. All right, so you are going to date your golfer. Now this is where I'm talking about, Ronnie just peeked in and saw my awesome picture. All right, so when I'm talking about triggered action emails, I want you to consider that you are dating your golfer. And I think golf makes this mistake terribly, okay? So this is how it happens. A random person that never played your golf course before goes online, they book their tee time, they get their boring golf confirmation, they come through the door, they check in, they read all their boring flyers with your golf outing information on it, and then you are irritated because they don't want to play golf tomorrow, and they don't automatically love the game. Now, when you look at that from a dating perspective, if you went out with someone on their first date, you would not be angry with them if they immediately didn't fall in love with you. And yet, that's what we do, right? Like, why don't they love us? confirmation email. Okay? We have to date them. We need to ask questions. We need to get to know them. We need to warm them up. We need to say, hey, this is what I'm like. What are you like? You would not believe, over this last year, I used to have a boring email confirmation, and I changed it. You would not believe how many people come up to me and say, are you Allison? I love your email confirmation. Sometimes they'll come up and say, oh, I love that story you told about the golfer who threw his clubs in the bag. Or, I mean, it's just weird. I can't even believe it that they actually want to interact. And oftentimes I'll even put in my email, reply to me if you have a question or I'm addressing something. And they reply. This is crazy. So I did this Cyber Monday special, and I have an automated email that came out 2 days after the special asking everyone who purchased in my online store if they had any trouble downloading their voucher. And I had almost 600 people who had bought vouchers on Cyber Monday. And so I didn't sit in my office and type up 600 emails, send in, hey, did you have any problems? But the words that I used made it sound like I was writing to my friend. And you would not believe how many people responded to me, yeah, I got it, no problem, thanks. I mean, it was just mind-boggling to me. Why? Because I was asking them a question. We were dating. They liked me, okay? We're getting to know one another. You have to wait for the proposal. You cannot ask them to marry you after you've sent them 2 emails. You can't ask them to marry you after they've looked at your homepage. You have to build that relationship with them. And so oftentimes we're upset with after 1 date they don't want us to marry them. And just think about it. But you would think, now, I'm probably a bad example because I did get married 3 weeks after I met my husband, but it wasn't necessarily because I liked him that much. You can read between the lines. Maybe I did. I think I liked him too much or something. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, we have a kid. Anyway, that is not what you want to do. So the point is, you've got to work with them. You've got to ask questions. You want to make a lifetime commitment. So when you are interacting with your golfers, then they will like you. There are times when they may not, they're going to choose my golf course just because they like me. And they don't like me. I'm a back office, sort of, technically, back office person. A lot of them, I'm not behind the counter all the time, but they feel like they know who I am because I actually sign my name. I didn't used to do this. I used to make it all be from Toad Valley Golf Course. Now I sign, in the from section, I sign Allison at Toad Valley Golf Course. When my brother sends, he sends Jason at Toad Valley Golf Course. And that makes you be a human behind that computer. And at the bottom, rather than saying, thanks for coming, Toad Valley Golf Course, I say, Allison and Team Toad. That's how I sign them now. Makes a huge difference when it feels like it's coming from a person. When you are writing those emails, you need to write them with purpose. You need to think about, why are you sending this? And details are the magic sauce. When I looked up Gently Rolling Hills, do you know how many pictures of that I mean, seriously, look at your website. I bet you all have Gently Rolling Hills on there somewhere. Okay? Get away from it. You've got to differentiate. Not only, this makes it so much easier not to compete on price because you can attract them with words. Attract them with personality, because if you have personality on your website and in your email and in your social media, I guarantee you're going to crush your competition because you're going to be the only golf course with a personality. The details paint a picture. Let's look at some examples. So I send out an email when someone books a golf outing at our place. I put them in a queue, and every 2 weeks they start getting emails, okay? These are just examples I was just writing randomly when I made this slide. But I'm very casual with them, and I try to anticipate the types of questions they're going to have. So I have 2 different email sequences I send out. One for new golf outing coordinators, one for old golf outing coordinators. And this is an example. I mean, it's just very casual. I'm speaking like how I talk, and I'm trying to anticipate their needs because I get asked the exact same question. This would probably be, a series of emails that I would send out. And the reason I know this works, and I'm sorry if you were at another session and I told this story, but last year I had this golf outing. They only had 40 golfers. They, raised $2,000 or $3,000, and this year they had 120 and raised like $35,000. I mean, it was just an unbelievable difference in 1 year. Why? When I asked him, like, what in the world did you guys do? That was so different. And he was kind of dumbfounded. He looked at me like, I just followed what you told me to do. And I said, well, I think you're the only person who's ever done that. But that's the whole point, is that you have knowledge that you need to share. I know you do. Share it with your golfers. Tee time confirmations. In my email follow-up, one of the things I'm doing when we get home, my sister and I are videotaping a video welcome series. So we have written this kind of generalized script, and we're going to introduce each family member, and we're going to show where the bag drop is, where to check in for a tee time. We're going to show where the practice green is, where the driving range is, types of information that the first-time person would never know. And then we'll put a link in our confirmation email. We tell them, all those, like, they don't want to be lost. They want to feel comfortable from the moment they come in your parking lot. And one of the things we get comments on all the time, I always tell them that kilts are encouraged but optional. And you would not believe how many people comment to me about that. Maybe you're doing an event inquiry. Now, on my website, I actually have created multiple forms depending on what type of event they're wanting to have, because I want to have a different email follow-up for them because they need to know different information. But, I've opened this up. Cue the confetti! We like to party around here. Now, doesn't that sound better than, thank you for your event inquiry. Here is the pricing guide. Right? That's what your email follow-up sounds like, right? Okay, the point is, broad and basic sucks. We don't want to write broad and basic. We want details. You want to write those emails like it's smoking hot gossip, okay? Like you're, this, hey, look what's going on here. You want to make it be awesome. Okay, so let's look at subject lines. So the subject line, most of them are Memorial Day specials this weekend. 10% off the Pro Shop. Right? That's what your subjects sound like. No. We want to write for our golfers. We want to pique their curiosity. So how about you try how Bob the Pro fell in love with golf. And then you open it up with just a little paragraph. It doesn't have to be, how Bob fell in love with golf, and then you move on to your specials for that week. Or maybe you missed the planning meeting. Maybe that's something you're sending out to someone who you're doing your fundraiser for. You want to provide their golfer benefit. Don't buy this on Amazon. Why? Open it up. Cha-ching. That's where you have your 10% off coupon, not in the subject line. 5 steps to a better swing. You want to inflict scarcity. Scarcity sells. Holy buckets, does it sell. I did this special. I'm absolutely doing it again this year on Cyber Monday. And people are nuts on Cyber Monday because they know it's a one-day sale. And the thing with scarcity, it has to be legitimate. So you can't say, oh, well, I know it's a one-day sale, but I'll let it slide this time. No, you need to stick to it and you say, I'm really sorry, but it's just a one-day sale. And even though they might be a little disappointed, they won't forget the next time you run a one-day sale. I called, you didn't answer. Or maybe proof results types of subject lines, such as, don't miss the Black Friday boot camp, or steal these ways to raise more money. There are so many ways that you can improve your subject lines. The other thing, that golf courses do all of the time, and you need to stop, is, I know you know you're writing to your database of thousands of people, but when that email shows up in an inbox, it's just going to one person. And so you need to speak to one person. So that means you need to use the word you. So don't make it sound, it's creepy. It sounds creepy if it sounds like it's coming from, like you're talking to a bunch of people. It's creepy, trust me. Use the word you. The other thing you need to pay attention to is your calls to action. I was just paying attention in the other room at one of the booths, and they had the call to action, sign up for our newsletter. I think you should give another try and say, I love getting great deals. Or make them click where they have to say, no, I hate having fun. That's how you lead them to a yes. That's a great call to action. You guys are going to love this next time. You can tell I was doing this late at night. You got to be a human. I was Googling what human is, and I showed that picture. Anyway, like you are a human. This isn't hard to do. But for some reason, when we're writing email, when we're writing script on our website, we make it sound like we're robots and like we don't know how to talk. It's weird. Don't do that. Go through and look and say, do I sound like a human or do I sound like a boring CEO of a large corporation? And this is super important. You need to send your call to action to a specific web page. So if you are saying, book your tea time now, that link had better go directly to your tea time booking engine. Don't send them to the home page. If you are talking about, hey, fill out this form for our junior golf clinic, when they click on that link, it better go directly to your junior golf clinic page. You don't want them to be searching all over your website for what it is you wanted them to do. That link has to be the exact link of where you want to send them. And your CTA should never be call the clubhouse for details. I know you've done it. This doesn't make any sense to me. I hate it when our phone rings. I'm always like, why are you calling me for a tea time when you can easily book it online? This is stupid. Don't call me. Our phone rings off the hook. We're packing 6-packs for a golf outing or something, and some stupid golfer will call up and say, do you have a tea time? And you have to stop what you're doing. I'm like, why don't you just book that online? So why would you want your call to action be another phone call? That's silly. Then you have to train all of your staff what the details are. Or worse, when they are actively wanting to know the details, they leave you a voicemail. And then you have to return the call. I hate returning calls. Anyway, no. You want all those details on your website. The person is online to begin with. Give them the details right there online. That's what I'm talking about. Anticipate their questions. Do you sound like every other golf course? Okay, now, this is a local golf course just up the street from me, and they do a great job of posting on Instagram. I will give them that. Every week, she posts a picture of a sunset. That I have absolutely no problem with. And you probably can't see this very well. I guess neither can I. But every single time says, what a gorgeous night. What a gorgeous view. The sunset is gorgeous tonight. I'm pretty sure there's more words out there to describe that sunset. And once again, I did this really early, so these are my suggestions. Did you play golf tonight? That gets some interaction. How did you enjoy tonight's sunset? Now this one I probably wouldn't actually post, but I saw this when this actually happened. It's a good thing the sunset was beautiful. It almost made up for cleaning out the blowout in the men's restroom. Please tell me I'm not the only golf course that has senior golfers. Oh my goodness. I think I'm slowly climbing the ladder that I can actually delegate that job. All right, so you've got to take this alien abduction test. And if you are struggling with wondering whether or not you are an alien, call up a friend and read the email. And if they're like, what in the world did you just say? You're an alien and you need to fix it. Does it sound like a zombie has come and trying to eat your brains? No. We want it to sound like you. We want it to sound like how you talk. And nobody has talker's block. You suffer from writer's block, right? But you don't suffer. I was just out there. Nobody was suffering from talker's block. So if you struggle with this, grab your phone, grab a recorder, and just talk it out until you get good at it. Write how you talk. You've got to send emails with purpose. So let's talk about formats. There are lots of different ways you can format. You want to pick a format that matches whatever the brand is for your golf course. It's very important. So here's a roundup format. This is just where they are rounding up a series of different things, a blog post that they've written over a period of time. Here they have attached content. So up here would be where they could put their funny little commentary, like what we were talking about, to get them to read. And then down here, this is a video, but this particular thing in their email is just a picture, a thumbnail of the video, because then they have to click on that in order to go to the website where all of your juicy details are. When you're writing emails, consider this. Consider writing in a series versus an episode. And what I mean by that is when I was in college, I used to watch Days of Our Lives religiously. It was even worth skipping class for. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 years later, I tuned back in to Days of Our Lives. And you know what? It was like I hadn't missed a day. Is that what your emails are like? Now, Breaking Bad, on the other hand, if you miss one episode of that, you are in a pickle. Because you're like, wait, what? Who died? Who made the meth? I missed out. You have no idea what went on if you miss just one episode. So when you're writing your emails, think about them in a series format. That's something that will entice the person that the next email you send out, they want to read it. Because if they skip that one email, they're not going to know who died. Figuratively, of course. There are a ton of ways, suggestions out there of how to format emails. So this is just one example. So this is called a problem, agitate, and solve. So for example, this might be something that I send out 2 or 3 days later. These are those triggered action emails. Triggered action emails are the bomb. I'm not kidding around. They have made me so much money this year, I'm actually going to have to pay taxes. That part isn't great, but I mean, seriously, my dad's like, there's nothing more we can write off? Like, sorry. Anyway, so this comes out a couple of days after someone buys something in my online store. Hey, I saw you recently, bought something, bought a lesson. I'd love to get you out on the golf course. Here's a 10% off coupon if you bring a couple of golfers with you. because I hate singles, I know you guys do. I also really hate twosomes. Especially twosomes that won't pair with other twosomes. Anyway, whatever I can do to encourage that foursome, I am going to do it. And now I look like I care. They respond back to me. I'm dating them. I paid attention to them. And I didn't actually do it. I just wrote this email once and then I set it up to automate. Okay, that's the beauty of triggered action emails. I've got a bunch of structure about how to write emails. If you go to the AllisonGeorge.com structure, for those of you, I do record this, and you guys can opt in all that, because I cover that more in that, because they only give me 30 minutes for this. They're nuts. Okay. So the point is, stop writing crap emails. I know you can do better. Get the crap off your website. Show your personality. You guys all have fabulous personalities. I see them all the time out there. But if I go to your website, it isn't visible. You look like everybody else. And that is not a good thing. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you go to theallisongeorge.com/tech, I was paranoid that I was going to either get all my presentations confused or something, so I wanted to record them to make sure you absolutely got your money's worth. So if you opt into that, then I will be answering questions, follow-up questions, addressing them, and then sending them out next week. So make sure you head on over to that. And I think now we're on to grow and own your list. How did I do? Not